It looks like we are live. I am so happy to be talking with Michelle Pellin today. How are you, Michelle?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. And so we have just published your book. So you've had a
Yay.
spiritual awakening. Now what? And you are such a cool person, Michelle. So you are a therapist, you have a private practice in Portland, Connecticut, and you are a ghost worker, Reiki master, medium, witch, like, yes. So I love that you put all of, well, not all of, but your wisdom, probably a little bit of your wisdom into this book. And I'd like to hear from you what inspired you to bring this book together.
So this book was pushed on me by spirit, if you will, because I was really blessed in the beginning of my awakening to have a team basically of healers at this wellness center that I had my office in. And they supported me. They really took the time to be patient with me. I probably had a million crazy questions for them. And I was really blessed to have that. And not everybody has that during their awakening. People come to me in therapy a lot of times in the middle of one, and or it ends up they have one in the middle of the therapy sessions, which is also pretty cool. And they feel lost and confused. And I wanted to have a how-to book in some ways, but also a book to share my experiences, to know that they're not going crazy, they're not alone, because a lot of people do feel like, quite frankly, like they're going crazy through the awakening, and I want to, reassure them that that's not the case.
It occurs to me that some people that might be having this spiritual awakening might not even know that that's what it is. Like you said,
Correct.
like they so I'm wondering if it might be helpful to share what some of those things might be. What are some of those things that people are in the midst of, might be experiencing?
You might experience a lot of confusion about who you are, where you're going. Your belief system is blown out of the water. You feel like all the things that were part of you, that were grounded in part of who you are, your makeup of who you are suddenly being challenged. And it's mostly about religious beliefs, but it could also be about other beliefs. But suddenly your world's turned upside down. Like, I'm not here to bash any religions, but if you believed a certain thing for 50 years like I did, and suddenly it's being challenged, you're going to feel like, wow, like what are my beliefs now? Where do I go with this? Who am I? What's my identity? What are my beliefs going forward? And a lot of times too, during this time, people will talk about dreams, getting premonitions. That's not something I experience, but a lot of my clients do. People will talk about getting intuitive gifts that are suddenly, coming to the forefront. They probably already had them, honestly. Everybody's got intuition, but it's something that they're tapping more into because they're having this awakening, and or they might get visited by a spirit. We can tap better into our loved ones more than anybody else. Mediums are obviously good at it, but the expert is the person that has the strongest love connection. So there's going to be a lot of different things going on, but it's mostly a feeling of ungroundedness, like sort of like an existential crisis, if you will. And yeah, you may not know what's going on, you may not understand it, and the people around you are like, well, what's with her? Like, I don't understand. Like, she used to believe XYZ, or she used to do ABC, and she doesn't do that anymore. So it's also very confusing to the ones around you, and then you really feel like you're crazy, right? Because all these people that used to support you are wondering what's going on with you. So that's another reason why you think you're crazy.
Mhm. And is there, so I'd imagine right, I left the religion I was raised in when I was 20, and it was I know that feeling of losing everyone in your
Mhm.
community and just thinking you're insane and not knowing what to do next. So I've experienced that myself, and um I love that you wrote a book that gives people this pathway of what to do when they're in that place.
Right.
And what I'm curious about communities, right? And like,
Mm.
is that something you experienced, or people that you've experienced where they're searching like to find support systems outside of themselves, or recreating that after they've left that?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of spiritual community out there. I mean, it's not broadcast, on the Channel 8 news,
Right.
but it is out there. You have to dig a little bit. But once you are drawn into it, everything connects, and oh, then there's this event and that event and this place, and it starts to really tie together. So yeah, the trick that is important here is to find like-minded people, to verify, to validate that you're okay, because otherwise you are going to think, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? So yeah, feeling that sense of community during this time is really important. I think that's why a lot of people reach out to me during that time, because they see on my website, oh, this person believes some of what I'm believing, and I can talk to her and I can feel safe. I mean, that's a big one, right? Because a lot of partners and family members and friends will belittle and, oh yeah, no, that's just, garbage or mumbo jumbo. It's all in your head, or you're just making it up, or whatever. And then you really felt with like, what do I do from here? Do I continue to believe this, or do I squash it down again? So you're becoming your true self, in essence, when you're taking on this part of you that has been dying to be let loose. You're becoming who you're supposed to be, that light and essence of you, the essence of love.
Mm. And I love in the book how you give different like exercises or experiences that people can do that help them tune into their energy,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yep.
tune into this and explore it a little bit more, which is really very powerful, fun, and very
Absolutely.
powerful. So yeah,
And those
are there any?
exercises were kind of built with every teacher, every mentor I've ever had, kind of sprinkled in a little bit,
Mhm. Yep.
and it's kind of a nod to them. And I love that, because then we can take all the worlds, right? Because for example, people put mediumship and witchcraft in a separate camp all the time, and it doesn't have to be that way. Like the book is also pulling a lot of discipline, not every discipline, but a lot of the spiritual disciplines together. And so I'm giving the reader a little bit of like a sampler platter, if you will.
Hmm.
Like here's a little witchcraft, here's a little mediumship, here's a little energy work, here's a little ghost work, a little bit of everything, and then they can decide what is best for them. But to challenge them and to open their minds of, here's a little something that you can give a try, and see if you run with it or not.
What was the experience of writing the book like for you?
um Interesting. In the beginning it was slow go, and
Hmm.
then I challenged myself. For the first time ever, I went to a beautiful artist retreat in New Hampshire. The name escapes me right now, but one of my mentors told me about it, and it forced me to, 'cause I was by myself for like 4 days, I think it was, and in fall, and it forced me to right, because there wasn't really anything else to do except take walks in the woods, which was also beautiful. And so I had to kind of like isolate myself and focus on where I wanted to go. And so it was slow going in the beginning, but then it ramped up. And I remember feeling like, well, do I need to add more to it? I feel like, maybe this isn't enough. Because honestly, I've never written a book before. I don't know what I'm doing. And so, and plus I was being pushed by my guide. So I'm like, well, what do I, and so finally I got to a point of, no, this is enough. Like, I'm not looking to write the great American novel. I'm just looking for a simple how-to. We live in a world where we're also busy, busy, busy. And I think a small book does have value because you can get through it quickly. And you can choose what to do with it, what you want. It's not intensive. I mean, I've read a lot of spiritual books. I've read a lot of witchcraft books, and some of them can be redundant. And some of them can be super heavy. Like, my goodness, like I have to reread that chapter 3 times to absorb it, kind of thing. And then I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, it's their style of writing and that's great. But I really wanted a book that was more down to earth, made you laugh, made you cry, and was fun. Honestly fun, and G-rated. Like, you could pass these exercises on to your children. It doesn't have to be an adult book, something that teenagers or kids. I mean, there's a lot of teenagers. I only take adults now, but 18 plus people do come to see me, and they're lost because they're still living with mom, dad, whoever, who is ultra conservative, put the religion name at the end of it. And they feel suffocated. So this is a book to free them as well. Something for them to feel like, okay, I can do this. I can do a little bit of this.
Yes. And I like that it's a nice balance of you sharing your personal stories with practical things that they can do and roll out and play with and create with, right? It's a nice balance of both of those things. So they get to learn from your experiences as well as trying it out for themselves. And yeah, I like that it's light and accessible, and you don't need to carry this like volume like this, and there's a place for that. But
exactly. And who hasn't said, oh, I was thinking about Charlie, and then Charlie called me a few minutes later. Excuse me, who hasn't said that? Everybody has said that. Or I feel like somebody was in the room, but I can't explain, but I really feel like there was somebody here, there was a presence here. Or I heard this noise and I can't explain where it came from. Everybody's had ghost experiences. Everybody's had mediumship experiences. Everybody's had intuitive experiences. It's something that everybody has, but what happens is, as somebody that is into the brain, the conscious mind, the ego, if you will, and the ego gets a bad rap. We all have one. It's not a bad thing. It's something that we need to work with instead of work against. And so the ego tells us, oh, no, that's not real. That's just baloney. That's your brain playing tricks on you. It's not. And so it's really just trying to protect you is what it's doing. It's not, because different things are going to be frightening. And the other challenge we have is TV and movies depict spiritual, medium, witchy people, especially witchy people, as these really challenging, scary, fear-based images. And so that's, if society's telling us to be afraid of it, then it's going to be hard to bump that. I mean, that's one of the challenges right now for all witches, is that Halloween is around the corner and everything is, oh, witches are ugly. And they got a big wart on their nose and pointy hat and green paint.
Yeah.
So you've got that image, like, I don't want to be that. But it's just because of Hollywood and stories and so forth.
Yeah. So I is there anything else you want to share about anything that's coming up, or any of the groups you're part of, or anything you want to share?
Absolutely. I am doing tarot fairs. I'm a tarot reader too. I am doing one this Sunday from 11 to 4 at Mystify in Meriden. So please come check that out. I do have other tarot fairs that I'm doing. Please check. Hold on a second. I need to drink some water.
Yes, hydrate.
Hydrate. Yes, it's August still. I do have other events. They're on my Facebook page. And so please check that out under Michelle Pellin. Also, I am doing some ghost work still with my team. My team is called Spirit Healers of New England, and we would love to help whoever needs help, whether that be you have spirits that are restless in your home or your office. We've done all sorts of jobs for all sorts of reasons. We only charge for gas. We don't make a profit off it. And we help a lot of people get that peace of mind, and we help spirits move on. So that is definitely a thing. My mentor's website is GhostsBeGone, which is kind of cute.com. So you could find that there. I'm also on Instagram. Spirit Healers of New England is the name of the Instagram. I've got some other events coming up. Again, yeah, please check out the Facebook page. And I'm also doing private readings, mediumship readings. I'm doing energy healing. I'm doing tarot readings online. So yeah, please reach out. My website is Spiritual Therapy with Michelle with 2Ls.com. And that has all my services. My book will be up there soon. My website developer has been swamped, so she is going to put that up there soon, but that is on Amazon. But yeah, that will also give you a lot of information about me. It's a beautifully well done website.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time, Michelle, to talk with me today. And just a shout out for, so you've had a spiritual awakening. Please, it's available ebook and paperback. Everyone, please download it or purchase it and leave a review. We want to get more reviews up there. So thank you in advance for everyone that's doing that. Thank you, Michelle, for writing this book and allowing it to be a very like a light, playful approach.
Yes,
to something that can be very scary for people. And thank you for helping people through.
absolutely. And there will be a free download, the ebook version, starting tomorrow for a few days. So if you just want to get your feet wet in it, please check it out that way.
Thank you.